back. Welcome, Thrilligans. No beauty tips this time, all right? We did that this morning. We're not doing any more beauty tips. I don't have cucumbers or pickles or whatever to put on my eyes. All I have is words in my head that I need to get on the page. Also, loved Laszlo. I'm gonna put this on. Hold on a second. Down, 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 down. Oh, check out this. Okay, fuck. My buttons aren't working. There we go. You're right, Victoria. Laszlo can motor a little bit. I'm not sure he'd get away, but for everyone who missed it this morning, we had a very, very productive day. We spoke only about books, directly on topic, and this is tortoise research, so that's what we got happening right now. Thanks, Cindy, Victoria, Vanessa, and Trevor. Welcome, Trevor. Welcome. Thank you for the likes, guys. You guys paid your chat tax, so you go ahead and troll if you want to. I know some of you guys do more than others, but I guess if you're not watching. I'm just trying to fix my stream deck here. Don't worry, guys. We're going to get at it. Nah, it should work now. Let's see. Okay, who's Nandor? Oh, is he the other one? Because you said he had two tortoises, right? That was the Russian one, I could tell. Just kidding. I have no idea. Hey, don't be saying that. Don't bring that up again. The internet's going to hate me. All right, guys. Well, that's because you haven't trained your turtle correctly. You need to train. I don't fuck with cats. Okay, listen. First of all, you got to train your turtles so they come. They're like children, right? So you train them, they come when you call. Because children always do what you ask. Secondly, I don't fuck with cats. That's the whole point. I don't like cats. I don't have anything to do with cats. Cats can fuck right off. Dogs are cool. But not cats. Meet me. All right. Are we going to work today? We're going to do some work, people. Haven't met the right cat. Cats are all the same. They don't do anything. Dogs have personalities. Cats don't have personalities. That's why they all have the same name, Fluffy or Snowball. Yeah, that cat was on my lap. I wasn't on the cat's lap. It'd be weird. Weird imagery. But listen, the cat came over to me. What's it supposed to do? Shoo it away? Cats are beards that breathe? You're giving way too much credit to cats, Trevor. Beards are amazing. Cats are not amazing. We also talked about beards earlier today, didn't we? Dude, we talked about so much nonsense this morning. So much nonsense. Or not majestic. Yeah, audio. I got you. I said, why are cats majestic? Because pharaohs had them and pharaohesses or whatever the female pharaoh's called? No. I mean, like mountain lions and tigers, those kind of cats, majestic, beautiful animals, awesome creatures. Fucking Fluffy and Snowball, not so much. Terrible. Terrible animals. Okay, maybe not terrible animals, but useless. Superior to dogs. Oh, you guys are just trolling now. I get it. You guys like cats, but they're not the perfect creatures. You try to play cat fetch with a cat. Can you do that? No. You can't. You can't play fetch with a cat. Okay. Hey, you okay? You gotta prove it then. You gotta post that video as well. This could become uh, Victoria's Victoria's insatiable reader group in a moment here with Laszlo and Motley. And don't just give it a cool name like Motley when you know it's Fluffy and Snowball. Probably Fluffy Snowball hyphenated. It's like a millennial cat. All right, guys. So where we left off, Chase just chased after a boy. Not that kind of chase. Chase just chased. Oh God, why did I pick that name? Chase ran after a high school boy, tried to catch him, and he got away. But she demanded Mr. Hendricks give her the yearbook. So that's where we're at. Nugget. I give up. Okay, cats are cool. Whatever. I'm just not getting one. No way. If I get any animal, it'll be a dog. Like a small dog, like a dog that you could just fit in your fanny pack. Is that better? Sorry, I'm trying to fix my mic here. That's better. A little toy dog I could put in my fanny pack, so when I go work out, it could pass me the chalk. Yeah, I can't work out because the gym's is closed. The gym's is closed. Chase dropped a finger down to the center of the page, period to paragraph, open quote. That's him, comma, close quote, she said confidently, period. There was no question in her mind that the boy she chased up the stairs and had lost in the throng of high school kids was the same one that she was indicating now, period, open quote. That's the boy, period, close quote, to paragraph, open quote. Jimmy. Grade 12. Period. Close quote in a paragraph. Open quote. Call him, comma. Call him and tell him to come here, comma. Close quote. Chase instructed, period, new paragraph. Mr. Hendricks looked at her curiously, comma, and Chase encouraged her with a nod, period, new paragraph. Mr. Hendricks then passed this message on to his secretary, who called for him over the PA system, period. Chase had little hope that the man was still... Jimmy was still in school, M dash, based on the expression on his face after Chase had taken after him, comma. She supposed that Jimmy might still be running, even now, period. New paragraph, open quote. Who is he? Question mark, close quote. Chase asked, period, new paragraph. Mr. Hendricks waited for the technician to move to one of the other offices to draw blood from other faculty members before answering, period, to paragraph, open quote. He's a decent kid, comma, close quote. The man said, period, to paragraph. Chase's eyes narrowed, period. When she'd asked about Madison and her crew, comma, Mr. Hendricks had referred to all of them as good kids, comma, great kids, comma, special kids, period, new paragraph. But this Jimmy, question mark, new paragraph, he was just a decent kid, period, new paragraph, open quote. Chase just stared at Mr. Hendricks until he felt the need to explain himself, period. New paragraph, open quote. Got into trouble a while back, period. Nothing serious. Semicolon. He was just selling answers to some English homework to a previous grade, period. In fact, ... close quote. The man looked up and to the left and paused for a moment, period. Eventually, comma, he continued, comma, open quote. He used to hang out with Madison and the other girls a lot. The other girls a lot, period. Come to think of it, comma, not so much Madison, comma, but more Sky, period. Close quote in a paragraph. Open quote. Then why the hell did he run? Question mark, close quote. Dunbar asked as he bustled into the office, period to paragraph. Chase turned to look at him, comma, surprised that the man was here, period to paragraph. Open quote. Maybe he didn't want his blood drawn, comma, close quote. Floyd offered, period to paragraph. Open quote. Or maybe he knows something that we don't, period. Something about Sky and Madison, comma, and why they committed suicide, period. Close quote in a paragraph. Mr. Hendricks, can you tell your secretary to page him once more? Question mark, new paragraph. New paragraph. Mr. Hendricks did as she asked, comma. While Chase turned back to Dunbar, period, into paragraph, open quote. I'm trying to think about what Dunbar was supposed to be doing here. I can't remember. I think he actually was coming with them, but I can't remember. Where did you go, Dunbar? No, Dunbar's not here. Yeah. I didn't expect for. I didn't expect for you to be here for some time, question mark. I thought you were looking into Vic Horace, comma, combing through his computer archives, period, close quote, into paragraph. Dunbar looked towards Mr. Hendricks, who was hovering over his secretary as she spoke into the PA system, comma, then lowered her voice. His voice to answer her, period, into paragraph, open quote. I was, comma, but nothing seemed. We couldn't find anything out of the ordinary, period. It just seems like a regular guy, period, close quote, into paragraph. Chase bit her lip, period, into paragraph. A regular guy who walked to a park and shot himself in the face, period, into paragraph, open quote. But get this, comma, I was looking more into the monoclonal antibodies for glioblastoma, question mark. And guess what I found, question mark, close quote, into paragraph, open quote. Just tell me, comma, we don't have time for games, comma, Dunbar, comma, close quote. Chase spat, period, into paragraph. Dunbar's expression soured, period, into paragraph. Madison's father is on the board of Verdant Pharma. He stated, period, to paragraph. Even though Chase had no idea what Verdant Pharma was, comma, she never heard of it, comma, the word pharma was enough to pique her interest, period, to paragraph, open quote. Let me guess, comma, Verdant Pharma has a drug with monoclonal antibodies to treat glioblastoma, question mark, close quote, into paragraph. Dunbar's sour expression didn't change, period, to paragraph, open quote. Not quite, period. They have done some cancer research in the past, comma, but lately they've been working on something else, period, close quote, into paragraph, open quote. Like what? Question mark, close quote, into paragraph, open quote. Immunotherapy of some sort, comma. The rest is really under wraps, period, close quote, into paragraph. Open quote. Hey, Mr. Hendricks, question mark, close quote, into paragraph. The man looked up, period, into paragraph, open quote. Didn't you say that Madison's parents were donors to the school? Question mark, close quote, into paragraph, open quote. They are, period. Were, M dash, I mean are, period, close quote, into paragraph, open quote. And you didn't think to tell me that Madison's father worked in pharmaceuticals? Question mark. Was on the board of a company, pharmaceutical company? Question mark, close quote, paragraph. The man swallowed, period, paragraph, open quote. You never asked, dot, dot, dot. And I didn't know, I didn't. And when you came in here and asked to take my blood, comma, I didn't think of it, period. Do you think, dot, 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 do you think that somehow he's involved in this? Question mark, close quote, paragraph. Upon meeting Mr. Hendricks, comma, Chase had been impressed by the man's demeanor in the face of such tragedy, period, paragraph. But now the man's suspicions were getting on her nerves, period, paragraph, open quote. Anything else that you might have forgotten about or want to tell me now? Question mark. Any of your colleagues suffering from glioblastoma? Question mark, close quote, in paragraph, open quote. Glio, dot, 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 what? Question mark, close quote, in paragraph, open quote. Brain cancer, comma, close quote, Chase spat, period, in paragraph. Once again, Mr. Hendricks looks like a cat caught in the headlights. Period, in paragraph, open quote. No, comma, no, I don't think so, period. Close quote. The man actually turned to his secretary, who just mumbled something about she had no idea, before all eyes were on her again, period, in paragraph. Open quote. Well, if you think of anything, comma, feel free to give me the heads up, comma, would you? Question mark, close quote, paragraph. Before the man could say anything else, comma, Chase turned back to Dunbar, period, in paragraph, open quote. Looks like we're going to have to go pay. You're going to go have to pay Mr. Madison a visit, period. Ask him about his little collection. Verdant Pharma, period, close quote, in a paragraph, open quote. The use of the word you was not lost on Dunbar, period, new paragraph. Floyd, comma, neither, period, new paragraph, open quote. Where are you going? Question mark, close quote, new paragraph. Chase looked about the room, comma, knowing that there wasn't anything else she could do here, period. She was almost certain that the blood of the faculty members and of some of the students, whenever they got permission to take it, would come up negative for the monoclonal antibodies, period, to paragraph. Except perhaps one student in particular, period, to paragraph. Open quote. I'm going to pay our friend Jimmy a little visit, period, close quote. A cat stuck in the headlights? My chair. This audio, man. Yeah. I'm waiting for my Secret Lads chair. This one is hurting my ass a lot. It was supposed to be shipped out no later than October 9th. It is not October 9th. It is, I don't know what day it is, October 20 something. And it's still not here. So I have this just back aching chair. Oh. I'm getting a little stretched, guys. That feels good. Chapter 47, new paragraph. Chase got Jimmy Isadore's address from the school computer records, but she knew better than to head to the man's house, period. If he felt strongly about Chase's presence to run away, then it was clear that he wouldn't go to the one place that most police officers would be the first would go to first, period of paragraph. Instead, when Chase left the office, she went back to her car and sat in the front seat, period. Although she usually wore her short dark hair down and occasionally tucked it behind her ears, she found a hair elastic in the console between the front seats and put it on, pulling her hair up into a short pony, period of paragraph. Then, after rummaging through the glove box, she found some lipstick that she must have put then. Bright red lipstick that she couldn't remember having put there, period. She applied it to her lips in a thick coat, and then smacked her lips together to spread it evenly. Period. New paragraph. I just spit everywhere. I said no more beauty tips, but come on now. Even this man knows how to put on some lipstick. Chase grimaced when she saw her reflection in the mirror. Semicolon. Period to paragraph. You look like a teenager. Oh my God. She hated the way she looked, but after running through the halls and squishing by all the teenagers, she figured that at first blush, she might fit right in, period to paragraph. After all, she was petite and short, and with her hair pulled up, she could pass as a mid-20-year-old, period to paragraph. On first glance, period. The closer you got, the more you saw the experience in her eyes, the slight creases by the corners of her nose that came from a lifetime of frowning, period to paragraph. Chase watched as the collection of half a dozen cadre of girls out front, comma, 8, comma, 9 maybe, comma, chatted to themselves animatedly, period. It was clear what they were discussing, comma, based on the gestures that showed were indicative of someone injecting heroin into the crook of their elbow, period to paragraph. Those 4 girls who had tried to get their blood drawn had clearly seen that happening to Mr. Hendricks and had spread the word, period to paragraph. It would only be a matter of time before everyone in the entire school thought that the reason why Madison and her crew had committed suicide was that they'd been injected with something, period to paragraph. And while that might very well be the case, comma, the panic that Dunbar wanted to dissuage avoid was going to come in full force, period. And when that happened, comma, not only did people act irrationally, comma, but the little helpfulness that they could get out of them, comma, be it parents or fellow students, comma, would likely degenerate into nothing, period to paragraph, which meant that Chase had to act fast, period to paragraph. A bell sounded at the school, comma, and the girls immediately started to walk away from it, period to paragraph. Chase waited until they had gone roughly 2 blocks away from the high school before she got out of her car, period. Tucking her head down low, she followed after them, comma, maintaining the 2-block distance, comma, cutting it to only 1 when she was unsure of which way they would go, period to paragraph. She followed this way in silence, comma, for nearly 15 minutes until they approached the small strip mall, period. Nestled within was between a nail salon and a video rental store that had a for lease sign in the window was a pizza joint, period. It smelled of melted cheese and grease, comma, and had the classic neon red sign out front, period to paragraph. The girls crossed the street and hurried over to it, where Chase saw there was already at least that many inside and standing outside waiting to enter, period to paragraph. Chase remained on her side of the street, comma, pretending to be interested in a newspaper box that offered free real estate flyers, period to paragraph. Then she waited, period to paragraph. The girls that she'd been following entered the pizza joint and mixed in with the others already inside, period. There were only a few males with the females, comma, but that didn't bother her, period to paragraph. Most of the students inside the store were females, comma, but she spotted a boy or two amongst their midst, period to paragraph. For the better part of 10 minutes, comma, Chase just stood there, comma, perusing through a magazine listing ridiculous house prices in and about New York City, period to paragraph. By this time, she had seen pretty much every single person who had entered and exited the pizza joint. And unless Jimmy Isadori was taking a massive crunch in the bathroom for the last half hour, comma, he simply wasn't in there, period to paragraph. And yet, comma, Chase knew that not everyone who was a patron would necessarily wait inside or out front, period to paragraph. There was one more place to check, period to paragraph. Chase tucked the newspaper under her arm, comma, bowed her head again, comma, and didn't walk directly towards the piece of joint, period. Instead, comma, she took a wide berth around it, comma, passing behind both the nail salon, period. Although the parking lot was out front, comma, there was a narrow alleyway that was used for what she figured. That she figured was used for dropping off supplies, period to paragraph. And as she suspected, comma, it was also a place where kids like to hang out, period to paragraph. Chase approached a group of boys who all had their back to her, comma, smoking a cigarette. There were 4 boys standing with their backs to her, comma, their heads filled with large with huge clouds of vape extending up from their heads, period to paragraph. Chase moved quickly then, comma, still keeping her head down, comma, until she was within 2 or 3 feet of them. It's a bit too close, right? 8 feet of them, period. Only then did one of the boys turn, comma, a boy with dark hair cut flat across his forehead and a patchy goatee on his chin, period to paragraph. He opened his mouth to speak, comma, before Chase, open quote, hey, comma, close quote, he said, comma, trying and failing horribly to look cool, period to paragraph, open quote. Hey, Jimmy, comma, close quote, Chase said, comma, ignoring the first boy, period to paragraph. One of the other boys, comma, one with blonde hair that flipped up once it reached his eyebrows, suddenly stepped to his left, period to paragraph. Open quote, no, comma, I don't think so, period. This time you're not going to run. I wouldn't try it, period. You may have been able to get away from me at the school, comma, but if you run now, comma, I'm going to catch you, period. And if I catch you, and when I do, comma, I'm going to make it worse for you, period. Much worse, period, close quote, to paragraph. It still looked as if Jimmy was about to bolt, comma, but eventually, as the boys backed away and started to give him space, comma, he changed his mind, period to paragraph, open quote. Open quote. Who are you? Question mark, close quote, to paragraph. Open quote. My name's Chase Adams, and I'm with the FBI, period, close quote, to paragraph. There was a collective gasp from the other boys who had since backed away and were almost at the rear exit to the pizza joint, period, to paragraph, open quote. Even Jimmy seemed startled by this, comma, and his eyes, which had been previously wide, now veritably bulged, period, to paragraph, open quote. Nuh-uh, comma. Remember what I said, period. You run, comma, and you're going to have a very, comma, very bad day, period, close quote. It's definitely Maybelline. I'm not born with this. This mug. Gotta work on it. All right, so now we have Chase. Chase captured, let's say cornered this boy. And she's about to put the screws to him. She's going to interrogate him, see what's up. Why did he run? And in the interim, we're having Floyd and Dunbar head back to Mr. Derringer's house. All right. Hmm. What time is it? All right, so next chapter, like I said, is going to take place with Floyd and Dunbar. We're going to split the... I'm debating, actually... No, I'm going to keep it like that. I'm just going to split now. So Floyd is going to go with Dunbar. And then Chase is going to interrogate this guy, and then they're going to reconvene. So they'll only be split for a little while. I kind of don't like the symmetry... The lack of symmetry, I guess, of having just one Floyd chapter, but what the hell? Got to do it. Like, for the whole first part, it was Floyd, Chase, blah, blah, blah. And the second part is Chase. And now, because I'm doing Floyd again, I almost feel like I should switch back to Floyd, Chase. Like, do a new part to the book, do part 3. And even though it's like, you know, I could, based on the length, I think I'm just going to... I wouldn't want to leave it there, like... I like to end the part with something... something very... like a very important event, and this is, you know, this event is important, but it's not like, well, you'll see, it's not where I want to end this part. So I'm just gonna keep going. We'll just shoot a hey Junior. I'm just gonna shoot a chapter in with Floyd and Dunbar. They're gonna go talk to Mr. I forget his name. Mr. what? Mr. Madison. I'll go with because I don't remember it. Chapter 48, new paragraph. Open quote. But Chase works a little differently, comma, doesn't she? Question mark, close quote. Dunbar asked as he pulled up outside of Mr. Madison's home, period, paragraph. Floyd nodded, period. He wanted to defend Chase, comma. He wanted to say that she worked differently, but she always got the job done, period, paragraph. Only the sight of Mr. Madison's home, comma, brought back memories of what had happened last time he was here. Memories and feelings of anxiety as the man had nearly collapsed on top of him, comma, nearly throttled him after hearing the news that his daughter had committed suicide, period, paragraph. But Floyd knew that this was an important part of the investigation, and despite the man's grief, comma, They had no choice but to go here and come here and ask him about Verdant Pharmaceuticals, period of paragraph. Ask him why his daughter might have monoclonal antibodies circulating in her blood that were used to treat brain cancer of all things, period of paragraph. The question was clearly rhetorical, however, as Dunbar didn't ask for an answer, period. He did get out of the car and start to make his way up the walkway to the house, and Floyd followed, period. He wanted to appear strong, he wanted to hide his anxiety from Dunbar, but it seemed that with every step that Dunbar took, Floyd took a half step, period. As a result, when Dunbar got to the door, Floyd was still about 15 paces or so behind, period of paragraph. His main fear is that Dunbar would do what Chase had done, what she'd promised she wouldn't do, leave him alone with this. The grieving parent, period of paragraph. Dunbar looked back at him after he'd knocked on the door, his face, which was marred by a perpetual frown, sinking even further into the collar of his shirt, period of paragraph, open quote. You coming? Question mark, close quote in a paragraph. Floyd looked away and sped up. Picked up his pace, period of paragraph. He was embarrassed about how he'd acted when he'd been here last, and he was embarrassed about how he was acting now, period. After all, he was supposed to be in charge, not Dunbar, period of paragraph. Not even Chase, period of paragraph. But if there was any sort of hierarchy here, it was Chase, Dunbar, and then him, period of paragraph. Maybe I'm not ready for this kind of job, period. Maybe I should go back to driving cars for other people, period, close quote, paragraph. The door opened, and Mr. Madison looked out, period, paragraph. Floyd had thought that he'd seen the man at his worst, immediately upon hearing the news about his daughter, period, paragraph. He was wrong, period, paragraph. Mr. Madison was a mess, period. His eyes were red-rimmed, and his gray hair sticking up wildly in places, period. He was wearing a white t-shirt that had several stains on it, the origins of which could only be guessed at, and a pair of shorts, even though it was less than 10 degrees, whatever that is in Fahrenheit, period. New paragraph, open quote. Hello? Question mark, close quote. The man asked, period, new paragraph. Even at their distance outside, Floyd could smell the booze coming off the man's. It was coming from his breath, surely, but it also seemed to be emanating from his very pores, period, new paragraph, open quote. My name's I'm Detective Dunbar, close quote. Dunbar said, holding up his badge, period, open quote. And this is FBI agent Montgomery, period, close quote. Can we come in and speak to you? Question mark, close quote, into paragraph, open quote. Did you find out why my daughter did this? Question mark, close quote. New paragraph. Detective Dunbar looked around, confirmed that they were alone. Period to paragraph. Open quote. Can we come inside? Question mark. Close quote. To paragraph. For a second, comma, it looked to Floyd like Mr. Madison was going to decline the request, comma, but eventually he just slammed the door wide and stumbled back into his home. Period to paragraph. Open quote. Fine, comma, whatever, comma, come in. Period. Close quote. To paragraph. The last time he was here, comma, Floyd had barely made it to into the man's front entrance before he'd been attacked, period. This time, comma, they followed a stumbling Mr. Madison all the way through the front entrance, comma, and towards a worn couch upon which he quickly tossed himself down on it, period. As soon as he'd righted himself, comma, which seemed to be a particularly difficult task, comma, given his obvious state of inebriation and the plushness of the couch, comma, he reached for a glass of clear liquid on the table between them and sipped it. Period to paragraph. Open quote. Did you find out why Madison did this? Question mark. Close quote. He asked in a gruff voice. Period to paragraph. Floyd took up residence beside Detective Dunbar. Period to paragraph. Open quote. We're still investigating it. Your daughter's death, comma, close quote, he said, period to paragraph. Floyd noted that the man used the word death instead of suicide and wondered if this was intentional, period to paragraph, open quote. However, comma, we have a few questions to ask you about, comma, in particular, your work at Verdant Pharmaceuticals, period, close quote, to paragraph, open quote. Where? Question mark, close quote, to paragraph. And now Dunbar stumbled, comma, clearly unsure of whether or not they had made a mistake along the lines, comma, as if that perhaps they'd gotten the wrong parents of the deceased mixed up, period to paragraph. Floyd surprises himself by taking center stage, period to paragraph, open quote. You're on the board of directors for Verdant Pharmaceuticals, comma, is that correct? Question mark, close quote. Not a hint of a stutter, period to paragraph. The man's rheumy eyes bore into Floyd, period to paragraph, open quote. Used to be, a couple years back, period. Why? Question mark, close quote, in paragraph, open quote. Can you tell us a little bit about your research with monoclonal antibodies? Hey, what's up, Raiders? I'm a mute. Now, what's up, Raiders? Welcome. Thank you, Bigfoot Bjornson, for sending your crew here. Listen, guys, I normally stream only on Facebook, so this is new to me. This raid thing is super cool, actually. I was thinking about doing something like that on Facebook, seeing if we could implement something, but they're restricted to mostly gaming. Thank you, Lady Wrights, for sending. No, you've been here before. Thanks for joining. My name is Patrick Logan, and I'm an author of about 50 books. And I I like to hang out with my crew here. We call ourselves the Insatiable Readers or the Thrilligans, hence the cap. And I dictate all my books. So what I do is basically I sit here in front of my... Yeah, Twitch is pretty cool, man. Not going to lie. I sit here and I dictate my books. I tell stories. And my little program turns it into words. And that's that. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And this morning, on the morning stream, it degenerated into talking about cats, beauty, routines, tortoises, you name it. We talked about it. So a lot of silliness going on here. But I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining. We're working on right now. This book here, Adverse Effects. It is the 8th book in my Chase Adams series. My best-selling series by far. It has entertained millions of people worldwide. Where do you guys come from? What are you up to? Bigfoot Bjornsson, Swedish? Fellow writers, authors? Okay, fellow emoticons. You love robots, rabbits, and something else. I got you. I got you. Yeah, I think I checked out your stream there a couple times there, Lady Wrights. What about you, Bigfoot, and all the other raiders? All right, I will. I don't often, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't often go on Twitch to actually surf. I just started. I got exposed to streaming I don't know, maybe like 6 months ago. I was watching some guys play Call of Duty, and I was like, holy fuck, these guys are getting 10,000 people watching them play video games. I said, that's nutty. And so I thought, hey, I got a cadre of fans who might want to see my ugly mug and listen to obnoxious stories. So here we go. That was like 6 months ago. I usually stream about 10 a.m. till noon, and I break for lunch. We talked a lot about sandwiches this morning as well. And then I get and I can hop back on about 2 until 4:30ish. And I got to pick up the kids. I try to get about 10,000 words done a day, but this morning was just hilarity talking with chat, so I didn't work as much as I wanted to, but I put up about a book a month. This month will be a little bit busier. Screenplays. We talked about that actually the other day. And I was actually talking about a couple of my author buddies. They have had their books translated into movies and TV shows from Netflix, and they're, for the most part, they basically give the rights and like, okay, see you later, thank you so much. If you want me to be involved, I'll hang around and help out. But I think it's a little bit. I think just because you can write books doesn't mean you can write screenplays. Doesn't mean you can produce films or TV shows. And I hear these horror stories of authors who are like, hey, you can't change that. Well, you know what? Some things just don't translate well to TV. I let the pros do it. It's like cover design too. Like I might know what I want the cover to be, but I'm not a cover designer. Leave that to the pros, man. You like morning streams before the kids get moving? Well, my kids are all in school now. Hopefully it stays that way. They're back in school, so basically after I drop them off, I come on at 10. I used to be going to the gym every morning, but that's closed. You'd want to see what's going on? Oh, you're doing full remote learning. Well, more power to you. You'd want to see what's going on. Look, I would appreciate the final product, but I'm not locked in. I've had offers before to translate my stuff. Nothing has come out of it. But I'm going to let the pros do their jobs. Those pros, you know what I mean? I'm the pro writing the book. They can be the ones that are into the pros at translating into film or television. That's their bag, not mine. I mean, it would be cool. I would love to be involved, to hang out. I mean, I got a face for radio, but I would mind getting a small role as well. Yeah, I can't do remote learning. There's no way. That this is my full-time gig, right? So I gotta write books, a book a month, to pay the bills. So there's no way I can also do one of the hardest jobs, which would be to teach kids. I mean, I do enough teaching of the kids in my own time, but oh, okay, yeah, my kids are younger. So I have three, 9, 4.5, and 6.5. So the 6.5, 4 year olds, like, no, there's no chance they can do it on their own. I'd have to be there. I'd have to be that guy hanging over their shoulders while they do their Zoom calls. Some of these Zoom calls are nutty too. There's like 20 kids on there. Half the time it's trying to figure out how to unmute people. Man, what a mess. What a mess. Yeah, I'm just here. Oh, amazing. Finished the first 2 books in her series. Well, congrats. The hardest part about writing a book is finishing it. I bet you know. As you probably know. Okay. Yeah, but they're teenagers, so I could see them. All right, the chat's coming up for the Facebook and YouTube people. Great. So I can see them being pretty independent. I have people come up to me all the time. I have this great idea. This greatest idea for a book ever. And I'm like, okay, wait. Just stop, all right? Just stop. Go write it. No, but you could write it. So I had a person write me the other day and it's like, I was looking for the perfect author to write this fucking steampunk, sci-fi, Back to the Future adventure. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Go ahead, write it. No, I was looking for you're the perfect author. And I was like, okay, bro, I have more ideas. Look, I've written 50 novels. 50 novels, right? And I've been at this for, I don't know, just a handful of years, 5 years, 6 years, something like that. And I have so many ideas. I don't think I'll ever get through them all by the time, I take a dirt nap. So I don't need your ideas. And the ideas are the easiest part of writing a book. Trust me, ideas are so easy to come up with. I come up with ideas all the time. Just today, we came up in chat an idea about a guy who goes to the gym and he has a small toy dog in his fanny pack. Now, actually the other day I did come up with a really cool idea and I just gave it to chat. I'm just generous like that. I'm like, take it. Yeah, the next bestseller. I'm telling you, man, the hardest thing about writing a book is writing a book. So that's why deadlines help. And that's why bills help too. I have to get people saying stuff like, oh, well, like, what about the muse? I was like, I don't know. Never met her. I mean, I can't go to the bank when my mortgage is due and say, oh, I'm very sorry, but my muse didn't arrive this month, so I did not have a book to write. I say, oh, okay, cool. We're going to start the eviction process. Maybe your muse can move in when you've abandoned the place. No. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. There are some days where inspiration is low, some days where it's wacky high. I think it's directly related to caffeine consumption, but that's just my opinion. Um, yeah. Yeah, we don't work by the muse. I mean, some people do. I mean, it's different strokes, right? Some people want to write one book their whole life, and it's going to be just for them and their family or small group of people, and I respect that. But for me, who is a full-time writer, um, I write books that appeal to a broad audience. Not ashamed of that. I write pulp fiction. I love it. It's great. I mean, I spent a number of years working in a hospital, so I always try to put in a little bit of, I don't want to condemn other people's work, but I always try to put in a little bit of science, a little bit of medicine, a little bit of pathology, which was my specialty. So I like to spice it up. But in general, I just want to appeal to a wide audience without talking down to them or anything like that. I started off writing horror. My first few books were in the horror genre. I love horror, and they did fairly well. But it wasn't until I moved into the thriller, psychological thriller, the detective stories, that I really started to sell a lot of books. So that's kind of what I've stuck with for a long time. That's why you'll see I get some shit from my Thrilligans, my long-standing fans. They're always saying, "Hey, when's the next horror book coming out? You left us hanging." And it will someday. But right now, you got to strike when the iron's hot. I think I have 4 main series that I write in. The one that I'm writing today, I can never get used to this mirrored effect. The Chase Adams series, by far my most popular. The other one is Detective Damian Drake, which is more of a with a male protagonist, whereas this one's female, and it's hard-boiled detective stories. I have one series that is about a demented pathologist. That one's since concluded. Another one about a guy who runs a crime scene cleanup company, and I spent the last 2 years just alternating between them. One book, 1 month, one series, and so on. And while I think that was a good I thought at the time it was the right approach to do that. If I were to go back in time, I would just double, triple, quadruple down on my best-selling Chase Adams series. But you live and you learn. But yeah, I make business decisions as well as creative ones for sure. Not always. I mean, there are some stories I want to write, some pretty out there stories. I want to go into sci-fi a little bit, maybe even some fantasy. But I'm gonna do those as side projects. The way I treat those ones, are more like. The way I treat those projects were as if my full-time job was something else. So if I was still a doctor in the hospital, then that would be my full-time job, and I would write during the evenings and mornings. So that's what I treat those other ones. I treat those, I treat the pet projects, I treat them as I'll do those in the evening and in the morning. But, I don't get much time because of the 3 young kitties. Vanessa, you thought at one point you'd finish the Drake series? To be honest with you, I thought it was going to end at the second Drug Lord book. I thought that was going to be the end, but it still sells pretty well, and I didn't at that point explore the characters, especially Hannah and Screech and Leroy as much as I wanted to. So Leroy's story is kind of prize fight is Leroy's story to some degree. Almost Infamous is a Drake story through and through. Yeah, with prize fight, Drake barely even shows up. And then I have, Strawman was Hannah's story, so I'm still going. It still sells well. I still love those characters. You gotta remember, The Butterfly Kisses, Drake's first book, was my first thriller book, and it was really the one where I could say, all right, you know what, this is gonna work. I could go full time for sure, and so I have a lot of respect for him. I'm gonna continue to write Drake stories till the day I die. Try to introduce new characters. Yeah, well, when Beckett's series, the Pathologist series, ended, and I ended up writing the Tommy Wild series, the Crime Scene Cleanup, man, I got some shit from you guys. Everyone's like, you killed Beckett so you could write this new series. I hate this new fucking guy. I said, no, it was going to happen anyways. Blah, blah. But now, look, every day you guys are giving me ideas for more Beckett books, so I think he's going to come back. Yeah, prolific and profitable. I think they go hand in hand to some degree. I know some authors who have written 1 or 2 books and they're doing exceptionally well. There's no secret sauce though. So you could literally how many books are on Amazon? 40 million? Yeah, the unicorns. There's 40 million books on Amazon, and I guarantee in that 40 million is the best book ever written. The problem is no one's read it. It'll never be found for a variety of reasons. And then you have other books that do quite well and they're universally panned. But the reality is, if you want to be successful as an author, then my advice is to write good stories often. That's it. You got to put out a consistently good product. And what does the old saying go? I said this the other day. It's like, done is better than perfect. Oh, I love that too, Vanessa. Vanessa asked, oh, I think it comes up there in the chat. Okay, for the Twitchers. Twitchies? Twitchums. I don't know what you call you guys. I also love all my characters. Thriller characters are kind of set in the same world, and a lot of it takes place in New York, although they travel all over the place. So you'll often have one character from one series go into other books, 2 or 3 characters mix up. And I was talking about this the other day, how this makes it super complicated, because I know that some of you guys don't read all of the different series. And so I don't want to have to like retell the same story in different books to make sure, but I think I got a pretty good hang of it. I try not to put like, if it's a Drake book, it's a Drake book. So Chase might come into that book and she'll help out, but it won't, nothing catastrophic will happen to her in a way that I need to spend the next Chase book explaining it. I could just talk about it in passing, because I think A, that's kind of cheap, and B, it's a waste of time really. The streams are crossing smoothly in the chat screen, which is pretty awesome. Are you using Stream Elements? I'm using Streamlabs OBS. Yeah, that's what I use to stream to all 3 platforms. And oh yeah, check it out. Check it out. I don't know if this is gonna work, but you can control the lights behind me. There you go. You want to control the lights. You want to control over the characters. You can just put in exclamation point and then a color and it'll switch. And actually, this cool thing that I got to integrate my lights, if one of you Twitch guys follows, then it'll do purple. And then if it's a Facebook, it'll do blue. And then red for YouTube. All right, I'm going to get back at it. But for all you new people on Twitch, yeah, well, we'll wait to see on that affiliate business. They're going to have to offer me some money. One of the reasons why... Mauve, get out of here. Dude, a couple streams ago, they're putting vermilion and crimson. It doesn't work. Only basic colors. One of the reasons why actually I was super stoked to get on Twitch is because it's owned by Amazon, and all my books are exclusive to Amazon. They've been amazing to me over the last 3-4 years. I love Amazon, even though I harp on them sometimes. They're literally, without them, I wouldn't be able to do this. Writing, I mean, streaming, sure, but so now Twitch is affiliated with, owned by Amazon. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they could improve things, let's be honest, but they're at the top of the food chain. Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to Amazon or Twitch and say, hey, look what I'm doing. I'm on Amazon and I'm on Twitch. Tell your peoples. One of the reasons why I'm on Facebook primarily is because it's where I do most of my advertising. It's where I've been advertising for years. Just the granularity of their advertising is the best. Like, I'm able to target exactly who I want to target and show them my book and say, hey, check it out. Maybe you'll like it, this thing I wrote. And so that's how I grew my audience there. And then, like, I think the lady writes, I think you said one time, or you mentioned in one of my streams, that there is a growing Twitch community. But of writers, and I've looked, and I'm like, there's like 3 German dudes doing their thing, which is fine, just don't speak German. And there are a couple people doing it, but I think it's us writers writing live is pretty much in its infancy, I would say. People are nervous. Yeah, I don't know what that is though. The Twitch Writers Network. I typed that into the search bar, and literally it was like one thing, and it was like a weird thing, some video game playing thing. Not that that's weird, but oh yeah, now there's Discord as well. Okay, I'm on Discord. I think it's just my name. Yeah, send me the Discord. That'd be great. I think the steps to affiliate are super simple and laid out, like you said. The thing about Facebook, and this is what has been annoying me for a long time, is that I'm all set up to monetize, right? I got a fan subscription service there, but I would love to be able to receive stars, right? That's like the bits equivalent in Twitch, and just basically tip with stars. But I cannot get them to activate it. It's super, super simple if you start a gaming page. If you do like a fb.gg/whatever, Call of Duty nerd, then you'll get stars like within a day so long as you have a number of followers. I meet all the criteria, but I don't have a gaming page because I don't game on there. And I don't want to like switch over to a gaming page. Like it would just be annoying for all my fans to have another group and another like thing. I just don't want to do it, man. And so I've written to them dozens of times and say, hey, unlock these stars for me. Like, what's going on? And even before COVID, you just can't reach a human being there. Boom, 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 boom. All right, I'll check that Discord when I'm done. For everyone else who's new here, I don't plot my books. I literally sit like this in my chair, which is hurting my head, my back. And I speak into the microphone, and I just go with it. I usually have an idea. I just get an idea, and I usually have an idea of where I'm going with the book, but I don't have anything written down. I just go and I write, and I just tell the story. Like I think this is the 8th or 9th book in the Chase series, so I know the characters pretty well, as do everyone else, as does everyone else, and so I just roll with it. I'm absolutely brutal when it comes to names, so I end up just putting in placeholders all the time, XYZ. And with this program, I got to use like open quote, period, new paragraph, that sort of stuff, but it doesn't really bother me. After a while, it just becomes second nature. I think this is like my 30th or 35th book writing this way, and I don't think I could go back to writing traditionally with the keyboard. Oh, and then so my process is that I write the book and I get it done as quickly as possible, the first draft, literally try not to stop at all. And then when I'm done, I will do a hard editing pass, which takes usually about the same amount of time it takes to write the book, where I just, I beef it up, correct all the errors, put in all the stuff that I forgot to put in. And then I have two editors on retainer who will then go over the work, and then I'll do one final review just for very minor things, and then it goes live. Vanessa, will Stitz be back? Stitz was the sidekick of Chase in all of the Chase books, Chase Adams books, up until like books, I think Devil's Den was the last one, book 6. And then he had an unfortunate incident and he left. And he will be back, but not in this series. He won't be back in this series. He may have his own series. So my idea for Stitz is that he is going to... Actually, I mentioned it during this book. I love dropping little Easter eggs. And so basically Stitz will be... he has been invited to the FBI to become one of their lecturers, and he's gonna have his own series doing that. But he won't be in the field anymore, at least not as much. And he won't be in the Chase series. I couldn't let him go, man. Everyone loves Stitz. For the lady writes, dictation is amazing. I was saying, I remember what I was saying yesterday. Okay, and it has to do with what we talked about just a moment ago. The idea of giving ideas to the chat, y'all listening. So yeah, Chase is bad for pretty much everybody. Let's be honest. I was saying that I prefer this method because I can speak much faster than I can type, even though I can type pretty fast. And basically, it just makes everything run smoother. I can get the story completed faster. And I was saying that I wish there soon, in a couple years, hopefully I'll be able to just take my thoughts and just plaster them directly onto the page. I'll skip the middleman. I'll skip my mouth. And then I said that maybe we'll have like one of those neural nets go on your head, and then the cables go to your head, and you can just receive the story that way. So that was my idea for a story that y'all can steal. Yeah, this dragon, naturally speaking, is a memory hog. Like it is slow. I got a beefy computer here, and it is slow. It still struggles. And people can get, like, they claim the companies paid them 100%. They've been paid. No, but real people have said they got like 99% accuracy. Chat as my witness. The accuracy here is brutal. Sometimes it comes up with hilarious things that not even close to what I said. And I don't know how or why. And I've tried to train the dragon. I've tried all this shit. I was like, fuck it, I give up. So I just go with it. Yeah, Vanessa, your brain would definitely explode. Like, the ideas in this. Well, yesterday was so nutty, too. Like, the ideas in this thing are just supercharged. Blow the top off. The only reason I can contain them is because I have this super thick skull. Yeah, my old computer that I was streaming on, it couldn't handle it. I had like no overlays or anything like that. But this one seems to do all right. I even play a little Call of Duty on the weekends. Just says with the boys to wind down, and I got to take off all the overlays and stuff, but it runs pretty smoothly. I built it just parts I picked up off of Amazon, and I use an old Canon T3i, no, just T3, not even I, connected. That's what you're seeing right here. There you go, Facebook like, and that's my main view. It's got a light on top of it, and then when I switch over to my writing view. It's just a Logitech, you know, the C920 webcam. And then I got a new mic just the other day, the Shure SM7B. And I'm still kind of getting used to it because this is beefy. It's chunky. Oh, nice. Thank you, Johnny and Thrilligan, for the follow and like. Right now, I stream in my bedroom. It's the best place for me. I have an office. Believe it or not, I have an office in the basement. But that's the problem, man. It's in the basement. I don't want to be relegated to the basement. I like to sit up here. There, I can look out on the street. I could be that creepy neighborhood watch, just fucking staring at everybody. Gives me inspiration. I say that, but now I have these blackout curtains because some days it was impossibly bright. Not anymore, though. It's been a shitty, rainy week in Montreal. All right, I might actually do some work. How about it? How about it? I gotta figure out where I am. I usually write like a chapter at a time and then take a break to chat with you guys. Once I'm into it, I'm into it. Anyways, thanks for the raid, by the way, Bjornson. Do you stream cooking stuff? I love cooking. I love cooking. I love barbecue. I love sous vide. And I'm pretty good at it. I was thinking, I always wanted to write. I do this thing where I speak to other indie authors. We do a little mock interview. Okay, I did one, but I want to do more of it. Super fun after hours thing. Have a beverage, just chill out. And we were discussing how we both wanted to. It was Lex Vargas. She writes some awesome thriller books and horror as well. Her and her partner Tim McBain. But only Lex was on, and we had both said like we wanted to put cooking more into our books. And when I wrote my Beckett books, I really tried to work cooking into them, and I did a little bit. But I wanted to like include recipes at the back. I just thought it would be so cool. Never did it though. I know. I think it's a really cool idea. I think it's gonna be hard to implement though. You got to work it in so it doesn't seem like a cheesy add-on. It might work better if you had maybe a chef as a main character, like some crime-fighting chef or something. But yeah, I mean, you know how it is. A lot of the attributes of the individual characters are stuff that we've from our own lives or people we know. And so I always try to work in things that I like into my books. It's funny. One person, I think it was my brother, actually asked me one time. He's like, "Do you ever feel like putting in like really personal things about yourself in some of the characters?" I was like, "Oh, it's there, man. Like, if you read my books, you pretty much know my opinions on a lot of things. I'm not going to get into. I don't, I don't ever discuss that on stream or anything like that. But it's all in there, man. That's one of the things that the stream helps with. Like, I'm super, super transparent. I always answer every question I get, and I'm super honest about it too. So, I mean, it's true about my writing too. At least I hope it is. You have recipes in there, or just talking about cooking? Yeah, it's that age old Star Trek thing, right? Where they never go to the bathroom and never eat. But the reality is, like, nobody wants to. I'm not nobody, but most of the time, you don't want to read about someone taking a crunch or taking a piss or eating a sandwich. I mean, it really worked with American Psycho, the book, because he was so deep into music, but this was just another aspect reflecting his manic nature, his hyper detailing oriented nature. So that really worked, but difficult to pull off. Great book, by the way, American Psycho. But if you've seen the movie and you've been turned off by some of the gore in the movie, then stay away from the book. It is next level. Like, there are no punches held back in that book when it comes to gore. Oh yeah, see, Vanessa knows. Yeah. So Tommy likes to eat a sandwich, like his Italian sopressata in the a crusty bun. I know. Okay, I do get into. See, I love food, man. I love food. I love to eat. I love to cook. So yeah, it comes up. It's just natural. I can't believe you remember that. I have a couple friends here. I'm in Montreal, and I have friends who own restaurants, and so when my characters come up to Montreal, rarely do, but they have in the past. I always have them go eat at my friends' restaurants, and then I tell my buddy, I'm like, hey, if someone comes in and says they've read the book, then you have to give them a discount. And I write in the back of the book, like, I gotta give them a discount. I was like, dude, it's already in the book. Look, author's notes. It says if you head over to Magpies in Montreal and you say I've read Butterfly Kisses and you guys were in there, then they'll give you a discount. I also kill some characters off. The ones that I have contests on the Facebook page often, or not contests, but whoever wants to be in one of my books, I can never. After so many books, like, I've used up so many common names, and so I'm always looking for new ones. So I either steal them from the chat, or I ask the Facebook group and take them from there. And when I do that, I tell them, like, hey, you're gonna die. You're definitely gonna die. Yeah, when you're reading a book, I've done that before too. I want to do one where I just link all my books like that. I think it would be so hilarious and just poking fun at myself. I always do that, by the way, in my books. In Beckett's book, at one point, I literally make fun of the author of the book breaking down the fourth wall, and obviously it's myself. But I think it would be awesome if all of a sudden, like, one of my characters comes into a room and everyone's reading a book, and he's like, what are you reading? And he's reading, one of my books, and the next one he's reading another one of my books. They're just all reading my books. I think that would be fucking hilarious. It has to be in that series though. It can't be in my other series, because then it would take people out of the moment. They're serious, brooding. But yeah, I don't actually put my own books. I haven't done that. I just put my other friend authors' books. Yeah, I think that some authors take this way too seriously. Way too seriously. They get a bad review and they're like, oh my God, how could they? How could they not like something I created? And I get it. When I first started out and I got bad reviews, I was like, oh, my soul. My soul is crushed. I'll never write again. But now it's like, I don't give a shit. I'm not writing. I'm not writing for this one person who hates my book. I'm writing for, all the people who like my books and who want to continue reading them. So that's the way I rock it. Thanks, Eric. Thanks for the follow. Yeah. And you can't take yourself too seriously. At the end of the day, I'm just making up entertainment. I'm making up stories. I'm so blessed to be able to pay my bills by doing this and live a really, really good life. But I'm just making up stories and hoping people get a kick out of it. I can take people out of the real world, which sometimes, and especially now, can be a scary place, a bizarre place, a dangerous place, a funny place. Go, on and on. But I just like to think, hey, if I could take somebody and say, you took 2 hours, you had a laugh, or you got scared, or you had an exciting moment in my stories, and that's it. It's not like the reader invested 6 months of their time and millions of dollars. No. My books are anywhere from $1 to, $5, $6, $7. Am I quiet? No, I'm looking at my thing. I look. My volume levels look good here, bud. The music should be pretty quiet, but my mic, I'm almost in the yellow here. Anybody else having a problem with the volume on my mic? Okay. All right. I think maybe that's just you, Eric. All right. I'm gonna continue writing just a wee little bit. Some of us gotta work. We gotta work. My voice is actually a bit. That's weird. I mean, I could juice it up now. That's literally maxed out. But I don't want to blow anybody's eardrums until I start singing. Dun, dun, dun. All right, I'm gonna keep going. Then I gotta get back in the mode here. Where was I? Do you remember doing some research into monoclonal antibodies? Question mark. As a cancer treatment? Question mark, close quote. Dunbar asked, comma, taking center stage again, period, new paragraph. Something happened to Mr. Madison's face then, period. While before he was clearly intoxicated, comma, his eyes drooping, comma, his cheeks sagging, comma, they seemed to pull back, comma, stretch, comma, if only for a split second, period, new paragraph, open quote. I was only on the board of directors, period, close quote, new paragraph. Floyd noted that the man didn't actually answer the question, so he posed it in a different way, period, new paragraph, open quote. Did Verdant Pharmaceuticals ever do research into treating glioblastoma with monoclonal antibodies, question mark, close quote in a paragraph. The man opened his mouth for a second, then it slammed shut, period in a paragraph. Open quote. Mr. Madison, comma, we're trying to figure out why, M dash, close quote in a paragraph, open quote. I think so. Period. A couple years back, I think we had some products that went to phase 2 clinical trials, period. Nothing panned out, comma, however, period, close quote, new paragraph. Now Floyd's mind was set ablaze as he started trying to piece things together, period. New paragraph, open quote. You said used to work for Verdant's Pharmaceuticals, ... You don't anymore? Question mark, close quote. Dunbar asked, period, new paragraph. Mr. Madison shook his head, period, new paragraph, open quote. No, comma, left my post about 2 years ago, period. What is this about, detective, question mark? What does this have to do with Madison and her, M dash, close quote. His voice hitched. Period, open quote. M dash, death, period, close quote, in a paragraph, open quote. I'm not really sure, period. Like I said, comma, close quote, Detective Dunbar continued, comma, open quote. We're still looking into it, period. Do you remember what exactly the results of the trials were, question mark, why it didn't go to market, question mark, close quote in the paragraph. Again, comma, that strange stretchiness to his face, comma, as if he was suppressing, desperately trying to suppress an expression, period, to paragraph, open quote. I don't know, comma, I don't remember, period. Probably the same reason that other drugs don't go to trial, period, close quote in a paragraph, open quote. Which is, question mark, close quote in a paragraph, open quote. Lack of efficacy, period, close quote in a paragraph. Something about the way the man was answering these questions now suggested that he was lying, period, to paragraph. Open quote. Mr. Madison, comma, it's in your best interest to tell us everything you know about this compound, period. Close quote in a paragraph. Clearly, comma, Dunbar thought that the man was holding something back as well, period, to paragraph, open quote. What does this have to do with Madison's death, question mark, close quote. The man suddenly barked, period. He tried to get to his feet, comma, only to fall backwards and slump into the couch, period. The clear liquid in his tumbler, M dash, vodka, question mark, gin, question mark, M dash, spilled over the rim and splashed onto his shirt, period, new paragraph. And that explains where the stains came from, comma, Floyd thought inexplicably, period, new paragraph, open quote. I want you to go, comma, close quote, the man said, period, new paragraph. Floyd looked to Dunbar, comma, who took a... But the detective had his eyes firmly locked on Mr. Madsen, who once again tried to stand, but failed, period, new paragraph, open quote. We're just trying to figure out what happened to your daughter, period, close quote, new paragraph, open quote. Well, why don't you do that, comma, because you're not going to find the reason why she committed suicide here, period, close quote. This time, comma, Mr. Madison did make it to his feet, comma, but he lurched forward and banged his shin against the coffee table, period, new paragraph. He grunted in pain and then yelled at them once more to leave his home, period, new paragraph. Dunbar, comma, his expression dour, comma, cocked his head toward the door and Floyd followed him outside, period. New paragraph, open quote. You have my number, Mr. Matson, period. If you remember anything about Verdant Pharmaceuticals, comma, you give me a call, period, close quote, new paragraph, open quote. You find out what happened to my daughter, exclamation point, close quote, the man shouted before slamming the door in their faces, period, new paragraph. Floyd breathed deeply, comma, and the anxiety that he felt upon entering the man's house washed over him as quickly as it had come, period, new paragraph. He followed Dunbar into his car and took a seat. He followed Dunbar back to the car and once behind. He followed Dunbar back to the car and got into the passenger seat, period, new paragraph, open quote. He's lying, comma, close quote, Floyd said, period, new paragraph, open quote. Oh, he's lying, all right, period. The question is why, question mark, close quote, new paragraph, open quote. I have no idea, period. Why would a man lie about something like this, question mark? Why would a man who's so desperate to find out why his daughter committed suicide lie about his work at the pharmaceutical company, question mark, close quote, in the paragraph. Detective Dunbar started the vehicle, comma, and started to pull away from the man's house, period, in paragraph, open quote. There's only one way to find out, comma, close quote, he said out of the corner of his mouth, period. Floyd waited patiently before the man answered, period, open quote. We're going to go to Verdant Pharmaceuticals and have a little chat, period, close quote. All right. Okay, I'm back. Well, thanks for joining, Lady Wrights. Get your chores done, and hopefully you can join me again. Like I said, I'm on every day around 10, and everybody will tell you I'm super, super punctual. Never a minute late. Never. 10 o'clock to about noon, and then 2 to 4, 4:30, something like that. So that's just a glimpse of some of my work. That's how I do it. Just kind of go with the flow. I literally just picture in my head what is happening, and I say it. And that's just how it's done for me. You know, some things obviously need to get tightened up. A little tighter, you know, right in the midsection. But that's for the editing process. The story will pretty much stay the same. I already know that there's some things that I need to go back and add in. Like this whole thing about Jimmy. It'll come up a little bit previous to the most recent encounter. But these are just minor things. Pretty much this is the story. It takes on a mind of its own. It really does. I know it's cliched. And, you know, how dare I, as a writer, make such a cliched utterance. But I just I have an idea about what happened. So, just for a framework here, we have, and for you guys who missed the beginning of it, you literally have 4 high school girls who are happy, who are popular, you know, who are doing well in school. They go to take the subway to get towards the school, to their school. They're sipping on their lattes, and they all get a text. They look at the text, look at each other, and then hold hands and jump and kill themselves. A day later, they find another one of their friends who killed herself at home. And then a day after that, one of their teachers committed suicide. And so Chase Adams, who is previously with the FBI, now she's called in as kind of like, well, they want her to come back in the FBI. She's not sure if she will, but she's a special consultant, let's say. By the way, that's another tip for you writers out there. If you need someone to be part of an investigation and they have really no authority, just special consultant. Special consultant to the FBI, special consultant to the NYPD. It works. People believe these things happen. I'm sure they do. I mean, we research everything, right? Don't we? And so this whole thing, so far the whole book is about why these girls committed suicide. And the concern now is that more of their classmates will commit suicide. Some sort of epidemic, suicidal epidemic. And they're trying to check all the boxes here. There's no abuse. There's no, shaming. There's no sex tape out there. And so they don't really understand why. But they do know that the girl's hair had turned white and that they had presence of these monoclonal antibodies in their blood that was typically used to treat glioblastoma, which is a brain tumor. And they have no idea why. So now we're getting some... Oh, I know what I was going to mention that chapter and I forgot. Yeah, they're getting some indication of how that might be linked. And we're getting there. The story's moving forward. Boom, boom. We are sitting at 60, just under 65,000 words for the draft. Like I said, I usually set my books at 65,000 words. That's kind of like the guideline, but I just let the stories go. They can be shorter or longer. I don't really care. It's just something, like a general guide so I can motivate myself to put words on the page every day. This one clearly is going to be a lot longer, probably around the 110,000 word mark. I think we've only done about, I'm going to do a couple more chapters because we have only done about 7,000 words today. Ooh. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do that. I got to go get the kitties from school. Okay, I think I'm going to actually end it there. Didn't realize the time. I know I said this yesterday. I really would like to do an evening stream where I put some more words down. And I was tempted last night because it was late and I was a bit tired. I didn't want to, comb my beard, get the dinner crumbs out of my beard. And so I was like, maybe I'll just do some writing. I'll do some dictating on my own without streaming it. And then I thought, no, cheater, you can't do that. You must get the people listening. So I didn't do it. Instead, I played video games. For shame. For shame. But I got a bunch of deadlines, so I might be back tonight. I'll be back tomorrow for sure, though. 10 a.m. 10 a.m. No earlier, no later. 10 till noon. Oh, are you in England, Vanessa? I didn't know that. I just assumed that. Look at me. The Yankee. I just assumed that every fan was American. I get a breakdown of all my fans on Facebook, and it is by far heavily weighted to the U.S. Canada fucking hates me. Don't ask me why. UK, I don't really. I have some UK presence, some fans, UK fans, but mostly U.S. So I'm glad someone over there, over the pond. It's 9:15 there. No, it's 4:15 here in the afternoon. Kiddies are done school now. Gotta go get them. They've been waiting in the rain since 3:30, just sniffling. Father, where are you? Please don't leave us, Father. Were you? Wow, thank you very much. Did you enjoy it? I got a bunch of people said it was a very different Drake book. And like it was weird. Maybe you're the one who called it weird. I didn't think it was that weird though. I mean, listen, I tried to capture a lot of. My goal there was to get inside the fuck was Lucas Lionel's head. I really wanted to show, obviously in an abbreviated time frame, I really wanted to show his descent into pure madness. I wanted to show his obsession with social media, his lack of kind of tangible links to reality, and just living a wholly artificial life. And so I tried to take him from a point where he cared about himself, he cared about his work, his life, to a point where all he cared about was just becoming famous. All he cared about was getting his accolades through social media and media. And that's what happened in the end. Like, he didn't give a shit. Like, he was dying, he was injured, he was completely messed up, and it didn't matter to him because the only thing that mattered, obviously there are some I was making a bit of a social commentary there. I'm not going to deny it. for better or for worse. That's what our society is. Society. And so I really tried to make it seem that way, that he just lost all touch with reality. Oh, I'm super glad you enjoyed it. I'll tell you, I don't know if you were here for when I streamed Strawman, but spoiler. Spoiler, Tobin's not gone. Tobin shall return. Deborah, thank you very much for the like. There we go. There are the lights. That's a Facebook like. You paid your chat tax. For all you new people, everyone who's new, listen. Who's new? Everyone who's new. That's my UK accent, by the way. You can lurk. You can hang out. You don't have to say anything. But because I live in Canada, where we have the highest taxes in this side of the universe, you have to pay a tax. And that tax is just simply to hit that like, hit that follow, hit that notify, hit that subscribe. That's all you got to do. Deborah, thanks for joining, but you just got to the tail end of it. I am logging off for now. I had a super fun. Well, listen, all my accents may start off British, but they all just degenerated into either African or like Scottish. So I don't do accents. You know what Beckett says about accents? By the way, it's coming up in one of his books. He says it's just a fancy lisp. I'm going to leave you with that one. You heard it here first. Accents are just fancy lisps, people. That's all they are. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Love you all. Be good. Stay safe. And keep on reading. Bye, guys.